Hello guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Dr. Peter, and today I'd like us to talk about study techniques. I think one of the worst frustrations you can have as a medical student is when your efforts and your grades are not corresponding. When you put in so much time and so much energy to study and then your results are not reflecting those hours. I've been in that particular situation myself, and instead of putting more effort, as people usually say, I decided to evaluate my study habits and my study patterns, and I found some loopholes and I found strategies to overcome them, and those are the strategies I'm going to be sharing with you in this video. Now, studying is a very personal business, and if you're watching this video, you likely have an unconscious study habit already. The goal of this video is not to change your study pattern or your study technique. The plan is to give you some tips that will sharpen the particular technique that you already have, such that when you study, you will get the most benefit from the hours that you are going to put in. Studying is inevitable, and as the Chinese say, what is inevitable is better welcome. There's no way around studying. You are going to have to study, and you're actually going to have to study a lot, so you can as well get the maximum benefit from the effort you are going to put in. So before you give up on your grades, you should try to apply this technique such that you will not be giving up because of poor technique. When evaluating your study habits and your study patterns, remove all emotion aside. Be brutally honest with yourself. Yes, I know you are putting in the hours. Yes, I know you are sincerely doing the work, but you might be sincerely doing it wrong. And this is what this video is about, to polish up what you have already been doing and put some icing on the cake. I'm going to start with some basic principles, what I call, the ground rules when it comes to studying. And let me just start easy. You can't go to read and then eat such a heavy meal. When you eat such a heavy meal, the pattern is very predictable. You attempt to read, you feel sleepy, you don't read, and then it's just an unproductive period of time. Also, you have to avoid heavy exercise before you study. You might have come across that brilliant book written by Dr. Ratzi titled Spark. In his book, he said some exercise before academic activities will help understanding. But if you do heavy activities, heavy exercise, physical exercise before you study, it will just lead to exhaustion, and that exhaustion will induce sleep, and that leads to an unproductive study cycle. So avoid heavy meals and avoid exercise before you study. Next, I'll talk about your environment. Your study environment has to actually be arranged in such a way that it favors you studying. It is better to read in an environment that you are familiar with, somewhere that is comfortable, where the sound, the lights are actually tailored to suit you reading. So it's better to have comfortable chairs, comfortable lights in a familiar environment, rather than having new places and new environments and new surroundings every time you want to study. If you don't have a suitable reading environment, you should invest time and even money to be able to set up a place where you can actually read, and a place that is suitable in terms of light, the environment, the temperature, and even insects and things like that, such that you have a venue where you can actually study. When it comes to attention span, is a different number and a different timeline for everybody. But what we know is that there's a period where you actually focus and there's a period where you are distractible. Now, in my experience, I found out that rationing my hours of reading into the 45-15 technique is a very helpful tool. And what this means is that for 45 minutes of an hour, you actually invest it in studying. No distractions, no internet communication, just focus on your study. Then for 15 minutes, you can move around, make a call, just relax and recreate. But rationing your hours into the 45-15 technique will help you to be able to sustain your attention for a longer period of time. And if you apply this technique properly, you can actually read for a longer period of time. Now, let me talk about the concept of triangular study. Now, triangular studying is one that has a wider base and then that tailors up to an apex. Now, the apex of this triangle, the capping stone of this triangle, is what we call high yield reading. Now, high yield reading is what we do when we are going for exam, when we know we have to deliver the knowledge that we are acquiring in form of a test or an exam or a project. Now, there's a special video I've done on high yield reading, and I think you should check it out. I'll put the link up here too, so that you can actually go through it, especially for those that have exams that they have to prepare for. So now let's talk about the base of this triangular study. I think the first thing when it comes to triangular studying is you have to have a goal. And what I mean by having a goal is you need to know what your desired outcome for that particular test, that particular exam, or that particular semester is. And I'll probably do another video on academic goal setting, but the point is you need to have a particular number, a particular desired outcome that you are putting your effort to. It will help you to be motivated, and it will give you a sense of direction. And the truth is, when you want to score a very high score, when you want a distinction, the effort you put and the energy you put is different from someone who just wants an average score. Now, having an average score, there's nothing wrong with having an average score in itself, but make sure that's what you want and don't shortchange yourself, but set a goal that you believe you can achieve. And that is the first step when it comes to triangular studying. The second step when it comes to triangular studying is you need to know the scope of the work you are supposed to do. So for example, you have a 3 months posting or a 3 month semester, so that has 12 weeks. And in this 12-week span, you need to have a good idea of what you are expected to know within this period. Unfortunately, I know it's unfair, but your lecturers, your teachers will not take the exam, and the school will not take the exam, but they will tell you that they have something that they require of you to learn. Now, within this 12-week period, for example, if you have 12 topics to learn, then you know that this is the scope of what I have to learn, and whatever will be asked of me, whatever will be required, be within these 12 topics. Now, you already have an idea of what the scope of the work is. So now when you have read 10 out of 12, you know you've covered a significant amount of what you are supposed to know. But when you read 4 out of 12, you know you have just covered 33% of what you are supposed to know. So having an idea of the scope of what you are supposed to do is very important when it comes to traditional studying. The next step when it comes to traditional studying is what we call having a wide base. And having a wide base of knowledge simply means that in the first month of that 3 months posting, for example, that is the time you spend reading wide, reading large, reading at large, reading anything around that particular topic. And the idea within this reading wide or having a wide base is just the simple fact that you want to acquire as many stray knowledge as possible. Don't forget, we're going to tailor our studying to an apex of high yield. So during the beginning part of our reading, we read as wide as possible to have a wide base of knowledge. Having a wide base of knowledge can help you make connection and can actually help you have a better understanding of other concepts within the scope of what you are learning. Now, the next part of triangular studying is making connections and leaving no island. Now, when you are learning something, for example, let's say in biochemistry, and there's this correlation in physiology, it's important that you actually trace that connection so that you actually make linkages both in your work and actually in your mind, so that everything has a pattern and everything fits together and you have an understanding of what you are doing. So having a wide base is very important, especially when you want to make connections after having that wide base. The other part of it is leaving no island. You cannot isolate any particular topic or any particular part of what you are learning. And the truth is this: there are certain things that are facts that you have to learn. There is nothing to understand about that. But alongside the facts, there are also patterns. So we know that all cells are nucleated, and when there are exceptions to these nucleated cells, for example like red blood cell, we now know that they are the exception to the rule. So there are patterns and then there are facts. We learn the facts and then we try to understand the patterns that exist in what we are studying. It is often said that simplicity is the hallmark of genius. And what I mean by simplicity here is this: you need to study enough to understand the concept you are learning such that you are able to explain it to an illiterate. If you are not able to, in simple terms, explain whatever complex subject you are learning to an illiterate, it likely means you don't understand it yourself. So simplicity is key. Simplicity becomes the hallmark of your genius. Another very helpful component of triangular studying is teaching. Now, what I mean teaching is, whenever you have the opportunity to teach what you have learned, please teach it. The reason why is because the teacher actually learns better than the student. There's a particular research that was carried out about this teaching concept. A class of 60 was split into two. Group A students were told that they were going to be examined on a particular topic. Group B students, on the other hand, were told that they were going to teach this topic to their peers. At the end of the day, both groups were tested on that particular topic, and significantly, Group B members who were preparing to teach that particular topic to their peers actually had a better retention and a better performance in the test. It's very simple. By the time you are trying to teach a particular subject, your brain organizes it into simpler patterns that you can understand and other people can understand, which gives you a better retention. And when you teach a particular subject, it means you've heard it twice. The first time you learned it and the second time that you are saying it to other people. Your listener hears it once while you hear it twice. So there's an advantage when it comes to teaching what you have learned. Now, the icing on the cake when it comes to triangular study is that exam or high yield learning I talked about, and I'll drop the link up here so that you can check it out maybe after this particular video. There are different modes of learning. Some people are visual learners, others are auditory learners. Some people prefer to write out what they are learning. Still on modes of learning, some people prefer frequency. They have to go over and over a particular topic to have an understanding of what they are learning, and the more they go over that topic, the better their grasp of that particular topic. Now there are other people who are amplitude learners, as I used to call them. They prefer to take a solid, single, detailed look at a particular subject to have an understanding of it. Now, irrespective of your mode of learning, frequency, amplitude, auditory, whatever mode of learning you are doing, you still need time to be able to go through it carefully. Now, the frequency learner has to go over and over, which is going to take quite some amount of time. The amplitude learner, on the other hand, also has to take out time to go through all the nitty-gritty details of a particular subject. Now, irrespective of your preferred routes or combination of routes, it's important that you identify it quickly and begin to capitalize on that particular route of learning. Unfortunately, we have a lot of resources when it comes to learning, both online and offline, that you can actually capitalize on to actually improve your study pattern. Irrespective of whether you are a frequency or an amplitude learner or a combination of both, you need time. And this means you actually have to schedule your learning early and then begin to apply it. There are many techniques of time management. I'll drop a link to a video here on time management so that you can learn to manage your time and be able to apply your preferred learning modalities and be able to have good results. The last tip I'm going to be sharing in this particular video is what I call flexibility. And this means you have to be willing to make adjustments to your preferred route of learning, even if it is very comfortable for you. So for example, you are reading a particular topic in a particular text and it's not making so much sense and you are not making so much headway. Flexibility means you should be willing to change to another topic or move to another particular topic and attempt reading a new topic. You might make more progress when you are flexible in that order. Flexibility can also mean being willing to change to another particular route of learning. For example, attempting to watch a video online which will help you understand the particular topic you are reading better. And there are many resources online when it comes to learning as a medical student. In a subsequent video, I'll probably analyze the many videos we have online and the quality and the value when it comes to learning medicine. These strategies are by no means exhaustive, but we're going to draw the curtain here in this video. Please leave a comment in the comment sections below on your most preferred route of learning or a particular strategy that you think works effectively. Lastly, if you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to this channel and share the link with your friends such that we can all learn and have better value for the time we put in studies. See you in the next video.